guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Marla. So glad you're here. I make videos every week of the things that I make that you can make too. Today we've got a lot of stuff going on. It's Valentine's Day this week, so not only am I going to show you some crafts, how to make, like for instance, these little Hershey Kisses rosebuds, but also some Dollar Tree decor, simple kind of rustic decor that you can make for just a few dollars. But the best part is I'm going to show you my very favorite sugar cookie recipe. This was a snowflake cookie cutter I bought years ago, and inside the packaging was this recipe for sugar cookies, and I've been making this recipe ever since. And everyone who eats them says they're the best they've ever had, and I'm going to show you how to make it. So let's get started. We're going to start by putting together the batter here for our cookies. As you can see, it's a very simple ingredients. You start by combining the flour and the baking powder into one bowl, and then in a separate bowl we combine our softened butter. It's really important that that butter is soft, and our sugar, and then we mix this together until all the sugar is incorporated into the butter. Once we get that far, we add our 1 egg and also our teaspoon of vanilla to our wet ingredient. So you're going to stir that until it combined. It will look a little bit like paste, and then you're going to add your flour mixture into your butter mixture. At this point, it's rather hard to stir with a spoon. I actually find it easier to do with my hands, almost like mixing pie dough. And the warmth of your hand is going to help you incorporate that flour into the dough. As you can see, it almost looks like Play-Doh here, and that's how it actually behaves when you work with it. So I cut the whole ball in half and set half of it aside. The best part of this dough is that you don't have to refrigerate it for an hour. You don't have to refrigerate it at all. It actually is so easy to work with. You can immediately roll it out and start cutting it out. See, as you can see, it literally behaves like Play-Doh. It's so easy, it doesn't stick. I use parchment paper on the bottom and plastic on the top, just so I don't have to use any additional flour when I'm cutting it. Place these cookies on a cookie sheet. The recipe says to bake at 400 degrees for 8 to 10 minutes. I actually think that's too high. I would suggest 385 for about 7 to 8 minutes. Next, this is the other ball of dough we set aside in plastic. The reason you want to do that is you don't want the dough to dry out, especially if you're going to be dipping it in the sugar. So if it does dry out and the sugar isn't sticking, just use a little bit of water on top and it will stick. While the cookies bake, let's move on to some crafts. The first step is a bouquet of rosebuds made out of Hershey Kisses. Just take some bamboo skewers, some tulle, and of course some Hershey Kisses. So just cut off the paper on the kisses. You're going to use some double-sided tape. These are all supplies that I got at the Dollar Tree. So this is 2-sided little foam strips. You're going to put one and connect the 2 Hershey Kisses together with the point of the skewer. Just stick it into the bottom of your little rosebud there, and then we're going to use the tulle to cover them and keep them together. You can also use cellophane, clear cellophane here, or red cellophane to cover, but it just is going to keep them together, give it a little glitter here, and make them look like little rosebuds. Next up, we're going to use some flour tape in order to wrap the wooden skewer, and we're also going to bend it up so it looks like little leaves on our little rosebud. Once you get your leaves on there, you're just going to twist the floral tape all the way down the skewer until you get to the bottom, and then just break it off and you're done. Really simple way to make these cute little roses. I also wanted to add some other flowers to my little bouquet. So this is some pink raffia that I also got at Dollar Tree. Just wrap it around my fingers about 10 times. and then secure it at the bottom, attaching it again to a dowel that has been wrapped with the green floral tape. And then you just tape the little raffia to the top, again bending it up to make your little green leaves, and then just secure it by wrapping it around. This floral tape is really sticky, so it's pretty easy to work with. It just can stick to your fingers as you're working with it, but just makes a cute little flower. Here's a tip. When you're adding what would be these sticks to a jar and you're wanting them to stand up, instead of using floral foam in the bottom, use candy. This is a gift, and that way the person who receives it can also eat the cinnamon hard candy at the same time. Last for our little bouquet is just these heart-shaped glitter sticks just to fill out our flowers. I used the remaining of that tulle to make a bow at the bottom of our bouquet. I think this gift is super cute. I added a little balloon to the top as well. Would be nice for anybody to get. Next, we're moving on to some home decor. I'm not as excited about the sparkly red and pink for home decor, so I'm actually taking those things off of these Dollar Tree decorations that I found, and I'm going to use other supplies to cover these wreaths. There's 3 of them, as you saw. 2 of them I'm going to glue together so that it's more of a 3D heart. And then the 3rd one I'll leave as a separate heart. But what we're going to do with these is add them to some string and make some garland for the windows. I had this spray paint and decided to spray the items I was using. I don't know that that's all that necessary, but I had it and decided to cover up that brown so it wouldn't show through what I'm going to cover these things with. I think if I hadn't had this, I probably would have skipped it. So one of the things I'm going to use to cover those, not only the hearts but the floral wreath, is this rattan hat that I also got at the Dollar Tree. If you take it apart, it behaves like a stiff ribbon, so that's what I'm going to use to cover this heart. I'm cutting off these little tabs that are on the outside. I don't need those to attach my ribbon. I used this same ribbon, so this is a smaller piece that I had from a project I did before, where during Halloween I actually covered a pumpkin with this ribbon that turned out really cute as well. So one I wrapped with the ribbon, and then the other I just used some jute rope and covered it completely with that rope. And now I also bought these hearts, all different kinds. I bought them actually to use next Christmas because I thought it'd be really cute on a rustic Christmas tree, these wood hearts and also these little grapevine hearts. But you know, when Valentine's came and I was making these decorations, I thought it'd be perfect. This is another tip. This pile here is actually a hula skirt, an adult size hula skirt that I bought at the dollar store, but it makes perfect raffia. So you just cut off some pieces and you can make some bows there. Then I used some macrame rope to tie all these things together to make my garlands for my windows. So I just alternated the wood hearts with the grapevine hearts, strung them together with my raffia bows and attached them to the windows. I think they look super cute. They were really easy, only a couple dollars. The other thing that I had that I spray painted was this heart-shaped wire wreath, and I did the same thing. I used the hat, stapled it on because I'd rather not ruin this ribbon. I'd like to use it for something else possibly in the future. And this way I can take it apart and make it into something else if I want to, if I don't put too much glue on here. And if you just wrap it tight enough, you really don't need a lot of glue to hold it in place. I used a couple wood beads here and again some more macrame ribbon. And then I attached some of my wood hearts that were left over from the garland and one of the grapevine wreath hearts, attach them to the center of my wreath here. And again, another raffia bow. I have this little flat wood button in my stash, and that was really about the only glue I used on this project altogether. And our little wreath is done. Now our cookies are done. As you can see, this batch came out a little dark. I did lower the temperature after this. And then we also have our sugar covered cookies. But now we're going to move on to decorating the ones that we left plain from the beginning. I used some of this cookie icing that I had left over from another project. It is easy to work with, I do have to say. As you can see, some of these other cookies that I had already done, you can just decorate them however you'd like. Use a toothpick to spread it around. It spreads pretty easy. And I would say the best part of this product is that it does dry hard. So if you're wanting to stack cookies that you're giving to people, this might be a way to go. But to be completely honest, after I decorated these, I don't like the taste of this icing. I ended up scraping it all off and doing what I always do, which is using just a buttercream frosting on cookies instead. So the ingredients were listed there for just a basic buttercream frosting. This is the best way to eat these cookies. Just spread it on as evenly as you can. It doesn't have to be perfect. These are homemade. And then just add some sprinkles to the top. These ones are the best, in my opinion. Here's a couple different ways to package your cookies if you're giving them as a gift. I got this little heart tin at the Dollar Tree, just adding some pink tissue to the bottom just to decorate it and have something to cover them with. These sugar cookies work great in here. The ones with the harder frosting work well in that kind of a container. This is a little cellophane bag that has a little circle at the bottom that you can stack your cookies, just adding a pretty ribbon to the top, tie a bow, and you're ready to give these as gifts. That's it. I hope you give these a try. Let me know how it goes for you, especially these cookies. These are obviously not just for Valentine's Day. I make them all year long, and I know you're gonna love them. So give it a try, and I hope you have a happy Valentine's Day. So take care. See you next time. Bye-bye.